So I want to jump in and talk about the business, the third business you have founded, Joy Lux. But before we go into that, a little bit about who Colette is and where you began, because you started in this space maybe before there was a space.
Exactly. I'm definitely one of the early pioneers. But my whole career as an entrepreneur has been about making women feel their best. And so I started in medical aesthetics, which is using anti-aging technologies, the latest in lasers, lights, to help women uh, basically revitalize their skin. And that's when I was inspired to take that into women's health, because the technologies, the skin, they're the same. It's just we are treating a different body part.
Well, so let me ask you this. This space, all of a sudden, it feels like everywhere I turn, there are, people jumping into this space to really do just that, to help women. But now we're finally seeing women helped in other areas, not just skincare, not just, feeling good, but really physical and wellness and health. And that's where Joylux comes in. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I really think that you have made sexual wellness sophisticated.
Thank you. And that was our goal. So when I was at my last company, which was a device for wrinkle reduction, I was going through having my first son. And unbeknownst to me, because no one talks about this, not even my OBGYN, but my girlfriend said over, a get together, they said, Colette, be prepared to pee your pants every time you sneeze after you have your son. And I was mortified to learn this. But what I realized, because of course I did my research, is I discovered that this is a really pervasive problem for women. In fact, 33% of women, and it's really more like 50% because so many women don't report this, they have what we call bladder function issues, incontinence, and a lot of it is caused by childbirth, but a big part of it is caused simply by aging. And the reason it happens is that our tissue, our vaginal tissue, which is really no different from our facial tissue, it loses its collagen and elastin just like we lose it on our face. So we wrinkle here, we wrinkle down there too. It's just you don't see it. No one's down there looking.
Maybe that's better.
Exactly.
Maybe it's better to not know. Sometimes it's good to not know things. So you said, look, this is the space I'm going to get into. You'd already had two other companies.
Yes.
It's kind of a bold move, right? To say, look, I'm going to ramp it all back up and do it again. But it looks like you got a lot of people that jumped on board with you and said, hey, you know what? We see something here. And when you're talking about a business like this, you're walking into a boardroom or a VC firm most of the time of all men. So how did you go in there and convince people, whoever was on the other side of this, that this is what was needed?
Well, I have to tell you, it was not easy. And the very first meeting I went into was a group of about 20 men. And I walk in there, and these men not only were men, they were older men. Most had gray hair. And I walk in there and I said, I'm here to talk about vaginas. The look on their faces, they turned red. That probably was not the best move for my, opening remark, because they just shut down. And, needless to say, I did not get any investments from them. So I had to totally change the way I pitched investors. Thankfully, I had a lot of women angel investors that got on early enough to give me a start. But when I go in and talk to investors that had men in the room, I really approach this as this is a business. And this is a business that has such potential. It's untapped. There has been very few innovation in this space and investment in this space. So if you're interested in making money, this is how you can make money. And when I changed that approach, then I got people's interest, and the numbers speak for themselves. There are nearly a billion women in menopause, and there are very few solutions for them, but they're a motivated audience. They want to seek solutions for these problems they're experiencing.
Right. You put the word money or business in front of vagina, and all of a sudden it shines a whole new light, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing. So let's talk about Joy Lux. You started the company when, and where are you today?
Yeah, so we started 8 years ago. Our very first product we came out with, which is the hero of what we do, is using red light therapy to restore the vaginal tissue, basically rebuild collagen, elastin, and increase blood flow. And as a result, that helps with tightness as well as lubrication, because that's something that women lose as they lose estrogen. So this device truly is revolutionary. There's nothing on the market. But because of that, it was a very lengthy regulatory process with the FDA. It's something I underestimated. I thought it would take a year. It took 5. We ended up getting approval outside of the United States and launching in Europe and then Canada before we launched in the United States. But now we're in the United States. We have come out with a line of complementary products, soaps, cleansers, serums, lubricants, all that support women's health, that are all pH balanced, clean ingredients, healthy for your tissue down there. Because while it is, I say a lot, it's the same as our tissue up here, there is a pH balance difference, and we don't want to irritate the tissue down there, because that can lead to things that you don't want to deal with. And here we are now. We are been doing this for now going on 8 years, but we've gotten the likes of Neiman Marcus, Lord & Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue. We're sold in over 500 physicians' offices. We're talking to, the growth that we're seeing now, because of, I think in part COVID and self-care and sexual well-being as a thing now, it's just exploding.
It's really incredible, though, if you think about that. If you think that you're going into Saks Fifth Avenue, where normally you would be looking for a purse or a dress, and you're going to be finding a product from Joy Lux, and that says a lot, not only for the brand itself, but to where we are as society, where we were giggling about the word sex, not too long ago, to where we are today. And I think that's pretty inspiring to me.
It's incredibly inspiring, because it's saying, hey, we as women, beauty and feeling good and wellness is not just up here, it's our whole self. And part of what makes us a woman is our vagina, and we need to take care of that, because if we don't, then we have all these other issues that have such a great impact on our quality of life. So what I love is that these retailers, these partners, they're all coming to the table saying, how can we support women? And it's more than just mascara and blush. And so I'm proud of the leadership positions that these companies are taking. They're embracing this category, and as a result, women are living better lives.
As a news anchor, I never thought I'd be doing a podcast talking about sexual health, honestly, because it was just not even in my vision. But I realize that this has a lot more to do with than just what happens in the bedroom. This has to do with a woman's confidence. This has to do with how it affects a relationship. This has to do with how she walks into her workplace. This has to do with how she, just feels in general about herself. And when you realize that we're talking about a 360 and beyond, it really is meaningful. It's not just about, hey, I want to have good sex on a Saturday night. This is about how, I want to have a good quality of life all around.
And quality of life and relationships, because what we are seeing is that prior to providing women these tools to help them, they would shut off from their partners, their children, because they either could be inactive, they couldn't jump on that trampoline, they couldn't go do the run around the block with their kids because they were embarrassed that they may experience leakage. And then with their partners, rather than saying, hey, honey, it hurts me, or it just isn't the same as it was when I was 20, they would say, not tonight. And then the husband or the partner's going, oh my gosh, is it me? What have I done? And that causes, rifts in their marriage or their, partnership. So what we're doing is giving women the tools to help heal themselves, to be healthier down there, but also how to talk about it with your partners, with the people in your life, how to say, like, mom's struggling, or honey, I'm not the same as I was when I was 20. That's another thing that we're doing at Joylux, is really empowering women with education as well as the tools to help them live this better quality of life.
Well, it's interesting because, we're all on social media, right? So we're all on the same platform, and we're all looking at, I'm a 51-year-old looking at a 25-year-old going like, why don't I look like that in those shorts? Or why don't I have that kind of sex appeal? Or why don't I? So I think it is really important for us to realize, where we stand and who we are, and to feel good in that area versus, I'm invisible now, not seen anymore. There's where your confidence goes. And then you see, divorces happen at, at this age. And oftentimes we were saying it's because kids are leaving home. That's not necessarily the case. It's because so much has changed in a woman's life, and it all kind of comes together in this one big, tsunami.
Exactly. But I think the younger generation will be in a different place when they turn 50 because of what we're doing today. The fact that we're taking the taboo out, that they are going to be very well prepared to have these conversations, be very open and frank with their partners about their health. And I mean, we see it already in just how, they embrace their sexuality and they're open about it. So, thankfully in 30 years, hopefully, the kids won't need my company because they will have taken care of themselves from day one.
Well, you'll just make something else.
Exactly.
You'll just make something else.
Well,
I just think reinvention, right? But I think it's also incredible with you. I don't know your age. I'm 51 years old, but I feel like I'm talking to so many people that are figuring out their next chapter, and it feels like you've done that all along. You've continued to transition in your life, and now to be in this space to help women of this age is super important. And what is next for you?
Well, that's a great segue into what is next. But you're right. When I started this company, I had just given birth to my son. So I was experiencing what women go through. So I was all about pelvic floor health, vaginal health. But now I've gone through menopause. Those 8 years took me through menopause. And so now I can, with real passion and understanding, know what women are going through. So when I create these products, I came out with a cooling care product for hot flashes last year.
Sure.
Because I was like, I know what women are going through.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I saw that when I was going through my childbirth, is that there was no innovation in the postpartum space. And so we, taking our knowledge of vaginal health and red light therapy, which is what we use, we are launching a brand new product early next year in the postpartum space that's all about taking care of women from the moment they give birth on through their recovery phase. And
wow,
I can't say much more, but it is truly groundbreaking, and I cannot wait to get it to market.